Hello everyone, this is Yox here, and now with the mini expansion patch launching in just under 2 hours, all of the cards for the mini expansion has been revealed and is now available on the Heroes of Rivenbrand website. And right now, we'll be going through each and every single card to give just my thoughts on how strong and how they will affect the games or at least meta. Because I want to be wrong. Anyways, first up, we have Lily Crystallian Brilliance. Lily is a legendary Forest Craft followers, 2 mana, 2/2, and on Fanfare she restores 2 defense to your leader and makes all enemy followers with Storm that attack your leader -2/-0. And on Evolve, she transforms an enemy follower into a snowman. So what does she do? Basically, if you queue up into Ghost, she basically says, screw you, we are not gonna let you have any fun. Not only does this totally negate any ghost damage, if your opponent has Masquerade Ghost or any last words that you are having trouble dealing with, well, just evolve Lily and turn the last words offender into a snowman. Because, well, a snowman is definitely better than another Masquerade Ghost. Of course, she's 2 mana, which is a little bit awkward for most fairy decks to run. But for a lot more control-oriented decks like Evolve Forest, if you play Evolve Forest, or even Castel Forest, this will be insane. She buys you an additional turn against Havencraft, with Lily's leader effect. Havencraft doesn't OTK on turn 7 with John anymore. And if you queue into Ghost, they might as well auto-concede once you play this, because there's no way they're winning easily after you play Lily. Just that one extra turn you buy with Lily, it gives you a lot of things you can do. So personally, I see this as a very strong card. 3 off on any forest deck. If not, then at least 2 off, since she helps you heal, she protects you, and it's just good. It's something like Plumeria pre-nerf. No, pre-buff, sorry, not pre-nerf. Pre-buff, Plumeria is a good card to have. It's good sustain, and once Plumeria got buffed in a 1/1, she became insanely strong. But Lily is somewhat better than pre-buff Plumeria. I see her as a really good card. And next we have May, the 3rd May reprint for Shadowverse, and this is already an amazing card just from the invocation alone. She can literally not have the fanfare, and I will still play her in any Forest Craft deck. This basically thins out your deck to make sure you can draw all your more important cards more consistently. Also, it counts as 1 follower left play once you play your 4th card. Also, as a 1-drop that automatically comes into your hand to be bounced if you need her on turn 5, turn 6. She's just good. And now that she has an additional fanfare that actually does board-wide damage, one once you have to all enemy followers once you play 2 cards, and 2 once you have played 4. If you can combine it with Forest Craft's many bouncers, she becomes a really important board control too. Maybe not on turn 5, but actually on turn 5 you can wipe most aggro boards, which is actually really useful, really good quality of life for Forest. And with Rain rotating just next expansion, I think she's going to be quite a staple in many Forest Craft decks. Next, I'm really excited for this one. This is Roger, Ruler of Seas, 4 mana, 3/3, evolves 5/5, legendary commander, and is a loot support. Finally, another loot legendary. In the base form, it has Accelerate 1, summon a Cannoneer, and on Fanfare, he gives you a Gilded Goblet and recovers you 2 play points. On Evolve, you will summon another Cannoneer and give you the leader that makes the first loot card you play each turn free. And if it's the second, you get to do 2 burn to the enemy leader. Will this save loot? Personally, I don't think so. But will it make loot a more fun deck to play? Definitely yes. So, how many copies of this I think you want to run? I think you might want to run just 2 copies of it alongside 2 copies of Barbaros, or even just 1 copy of Barbaros. Most likely 2. So the reason why I think you only want to run 2 copies of this is because you want to draw Barbaros as consistently as possible. And you don't want to draw too many Rogers or put too many Rogers into your deck, that actually messes up your Barbaros draw. Of course, you can rely on Kaze, and the Kaze will just tutor Barbaros from your deck directly, since Barbaros will probably be the only enhanced card you'll be running. However, one issue I see with this card is that if you draw this in your late game, like turn 6 or even turn 7, this card becomes infinitely worse. You want this on either turn on your evolve turn, or at least at the latest turn 6. If you can't get it before turn 6, the chances of you losing the game is extremely high, because Roger enables a turn 7 OTK. And if you can't get that turn 7 OTK off, the later you get, the harder it is for Loot to actually win the game. Especially with Haven running around. Actually, the meta might shift a little bit, so during the honeymoon period, you might have a little bit more success with Loot. But overall, I don't think Roger is enough to bring Loot back, but it's definitely going to make Loot more viable as a deck now and not absolutely trash. Next, I mean, he's also healed, so technically you have sustain, rally, everything. Mana Cheat, I love Mana Cheat, man. And next, we have Seeker of Love. A 1 mana 1/2, fanfare, put a Lord General Romeo or Princess Juliet into your hand, or Rally 10, summon both. Summon it instead. Never mind, you only summon one. So, Lord General Romeo is a 3 mana 2/3 ward that gets -1 cost once you play a commander card. Also a commander card. Princess Juliet is a 2/2 storm, which is just better already. I was like, why would you ever go for Lord General Romeo unless you're trying to ward up? 1 mana summon a 1/2 body and a 2/3 ward is actually pretty decent, but you need Rally 10. Rally 10's two followers might actually not be bad actually. Since currently Swordcraft doesn't have a lot of good 1-drops. Seeker of Love kinda solves that issue a little bit. It's just another 1-drop you can input into your deck alongside Sway, Bandit, or even Goblin. Wandering Goblin. Is that what the name? I think it's Wandering Goblin. The Rally 10 effect is really useful if you want to get out another 2/2 burn. Or 4/4, depending on if you want to evolve her. Princess Juliet, I mean. But overall, I don't see her being game-changing. I think she's just a nice card to have that Swordcraft would like. Will you change any standings for Swordcraft? Probably not. It's just a useful extra follower. Although I will say, on turn 8, this can allow your Radiel OTK to be slightly more consistent, since now he doesn't need the Gilded Necklace to OTK anymore. You can play Seeker of Love alongside Radiel and summon Princess Juliet for the OTK instead. She will cover the extra 2 hit points, and you don't need Gilded Necklace anymore, so you can use that loot on someone else if you really have to. Overall, not a really strong card, just a very average one. Probably can, if she's too weak, she just get cut, but she does have good stats after all. Next, we have the Rune Legendary Sweet Defender Golem. Earth Sigil support. He's a crystallized 2 Earth Sigil, and at the end of turn, if you have more than 2 stack in play, you restore 2 defense to your leader and you perform Earthright. I think this is a really good card for Earthbird the Rune. The reason why, okay, you're never gonna play this for the main body. I don't know why side games like printing cards that you will never want to play the main body for. We already see one in the case of Ticket, now we see another one in the case of Sweet Defender Golem. I don't really like the way they design these cards, but the Crystallize is actually really good. And on just the Crystallize itself is already 3 Earth Sigils. But at the end of your turn, actually it becomes a 2 Earth Sigil, because at the end of your turn you basically you regain 2 hit points, which is good source of heal for Runecraft. You can actually survive a little bit longer now. And it also counts as a free Earthright. So a lot of the Earthright cards, right, become stronger once you use up 7 stacks. So the moment this is basically accelerating that by 1. And it is really useful, especially alongside the heal. Will definitely help you survive longer and probably get more cards for, and power up your Levi's, power up your Pascals, and will definitely help you survive later into the game where you can actually finish off your opponent with burned cards. And if I'm reading this correctly, you will probably not draw these off of Familiar's Magic. I think that's what it's called. Since, well, I don't think this says Earthright perform anything. So this will probably not mess up your draw, and I think it will be an auto include into any third decks. The Fanfare is pretty useless. It just destroy all enemy followers and restore 7 to your leader, and doesn't even deal with John, so yeah, ignore this part. Just focus on the Crystallize. It's basically an amulet at this point. Moving on, we have Spell Boost support. Explosive Mage. Spell Boost, subtract 1 from the cost of this follower, and on Fanfare you put one playpoint Runecraft spell from your deck into your hand. Tutors inside, tutors in either inside or whatever one playpoint like Blitz, or even there was that one that just stops your opponent's follower from attacking. And then when you play a spell, you deal 2 to a random enemy follower. On Evolve, you get to put a random 2 playpoint Runecraft spell from your deck into your hand instead. You can put quite a number of spells actually. Most of the one you will be looking for the most is probably Magical Missiles, maybe that, or either Magical Strategies. Pretty decent card. It's a draw 2, but honestly, it just feels like a worse version of Chakram Wizard. I mean, it does draw 2, but you need to how cheap do you need this to be for it to be good? Maybe at least 2 mana. You need to play 3 spells before playing her, and you need to spend 1 evolve point to get a second effect as well. And at most, she does like 2 damage if you play her without evolve. A little bit weak. Runecraft Spell Boost needs more draw at this point in time. I don't think Explosive Mage is enough to bring Spell Boost back to a competitive level. Maybe to a meme level, she'll be enough, but competitive probably not. Which, okay, I guess is a good thing. Mana cheat is really fun, but this is a very sad effect for us, for what you will expect from a Spell Boost card. Actually, it's just a good support lah. I don't particularly hate it. Is it good? Probably not. But is decent enough to bring Spell Boost to a pretty playable level? Especially since they got butchered from the loss of a lot of things from Age of Paradise. Next, we have Doomsday Shark. Accelerate 1, put 2 Koro Sharks into your deck. Give +0/+1 to all Dragoncraft followers. Buff support. Koro Shark is a 2 mana 3/1 rush. And if it has 3 defense, you summon a Hippocampus. A Hippocampus is a 5 mana 3/5 with ward. Actually, that's actually not bad. That's actually pretty decent. The issue is... Wait, sorry? The issue is... Buff Dragon needs draw. This doesn't draw. It just summons more bodies. And it buffs your followers even more. I think you need... In fact, the copy doesn't even get the buff that the original copy you play have. So you'll just be a 5/2 rush. And your Doomsday Shark might be a 5/7, so you might not even get the last words ever active. And really odd choice. I don't know. I don't see this being... I don't think this will see play. Because not only does it actually make your deck more inconsistent by putting in 2 Koro Sharks if you choose to accelerate it. If you draw it, it's just a 10... Actually, it's a 10 damage rush, which could be very useful in some matchups, but in matchup with hard removals, which is like basically almost every class nowadays except for Swordcraft, this just falls flat. Big stats doesn't win you the game often enough. Because everyone just OTKs you anyways on turn 7. Looking at you, Haven. Would this make Buff Dragon good? Probably not. Taras didn't bring it to a good level. Doomsday Shark definitely wouldn't. It's not the mid game that Buff Dragon is struggling with. It is the lack of draw. And Doomsday Shark doesn't fix that issue. It's just average. It's painfully average. What's going on? Come on. Bring something spicy for one side games. Coral Spirits. 3 mana, 3/3 gold for Dragoncraft on Fanfare. If allied followers have evolved at least one time, you banish an enemy follower. If allied followers have evolved 3 times, you restore 3 defense. And if allied followers have evolved 5 times, this adds auto evolve. This has ward and can be targeted by enemy effects on evolve. And I think this is a really strong card. Okay, first thing up first, having an allied follower evolve 1 time this match is really easy. So you just get a free banish from Coral Spirits. What does this mean? Shadow mains out there, our life is over. That last words is dead. Ghost is dead. This stops us. What is the meaning of this? Come on, what is this blatant favoritism that makes us not have any fun? But jokes aside, I think this is an amazing card for Evolved Dragon. For other Dragoncraft decks, I think it's still pretty decent. Just having if you can evolve at least 3 times, which is a lot of Dragoncraft decks actually. Buff have auto evolves in the form of Striker. In Condemned Dragon, I'm not sure if Condemned Dragon has any good evolves, but just if you can get the first one is already good enough. 3 mana banish is really good, and you can get the second one is restore, and if you get the last one you get a free ward that is really quite sticky unless your opponent just has random effects or just a bot wipe. Really good card. If I have to give it a star, it will be 4. It's amazing. We'll definitely see it play in Evolved Dragon, Ram Dragon, and might be just what is needed to give Dragon the extra bit of protection that actually push higher into the tiers for decks. However, I will mention though, it's a 5 hit point, so you just get cleared by John. So yeah, keep that in mind. Next, we have a spicy card. Let's go. For Shadowcraft, we have Myth, or is it Murph? Minter? How do you pronounce this girl? Anyways, Barrel Ride, put a random follower with Necromancy from your deck into your hand. As of this point in time, the only one I can think of is... Okay, there's actually a lot. Blossom Beauty, there's also Cerberus, the reprinted one. Then we have Deathside Hound, there's actually a lot. But the spicy is on Evolve. On each of your turn, when you perform Necromancy, you regain X Shadows. This makes Feel the Fear not so bad to play. Like really, now you can play Feel the Fear without deleting your entire shadow pool. I love it. This will probably make a lot of my meme that's very powerful in the future. And maybe let's see what other things does this help. Deathside Hound will not consume all your shadows. Blossom Beauty will be easier to evolve now. You get a free evolve basically for free, and you won't even tap into your shadow count. I think it's a very strong card. Actually, not a very strong card. It's a very nice card to have. It's a very fun card for me since I love Shadowcraft a lot. I'm really biased, but other than that, it doesn't really help you win the game. It's just a quality of life change. I love it, but it won't help Shadowcraft win. That's the issue. It doesn't support any prevalent Shadowcraft deck. Well, the most prevalent is literally Ghost Shadow, and Ghost Shadow is just aggro your opponent down until they cry. But Myth is Necromancy support, Last Word support, and you already seen one banish card and one transform card literally coming out in the expansion, in the mini expansion. So I don't know, man. I want Shadowcraft to be good, but I mean, it's gonna be fun, definitely, with Myth. I'm gonna call her Myth from now on. Being printed. But I don't think Shadowcraft will be good anymore. At most tier 2. But it will definitely be fun. And finally, the one I talk about posted on my... I don't even know what it's called, but I tweeted it. It's not tweeted. I just put it in a YouTube post. Corpse Crusher. Accelerate is 0. We haven't seen an Accelerate 0 in a long time. At least, I think. Necromancy force summon a zombie and gives it last word deal 1 to the enemy leader. You get a 2/2 body, and you get to deal with a ping for 4 shadows and 1 card in your hand. Pretty decent, especially for last words, which generates a lot of shadows. And actually, technically, you can read this as Necromancy 2, since Corpse Crusher and the zombie gives 2 shadows back anyways. I think this effect is pretty scary because zero mana effects are usually very broken. No, it's not broken. You'll eventually break the game in some way. But the thing here is it summons a zombie. It's zombie support. It's last word support. And this means it's Underworld Captain support. Finally, Underworld Captain gets someone that summons zombies that to give Storm other than himself. And absolutely useless cards from the basic set. I think this will be fun. In fact, if you can cheat Underworld Captain out on 5, you can play Corpse Crusher on 6 to get, and with Necromancy 8, you can get 8 damage Storm, and then if you evolve Underworld Captain, you get another 2 damage. 10 damage total on turn 6. And with 2 damage Badlock. I think it's amazing. It's very fun. I think it's cool. It will definitely enable some memes. Will it be good? Probably not, because your Underworld Captain is probably going to get banished and transformed. So yeah. Actually, why don't you make Underworld Captain not unable to be targeted by enemy effects, side games? Hello? Can you show some love for such a weak card? Like, just knock one attack off him and make him untargetable. So that he just doesn't get transformed. Like, please, come on. But let's move on. Next, we have Ruler of Retribution. This is Thief Shadow support. Funnily enough, I think this is literally made for me. I'm gonna steal this with Phantom of the Strings. There's nothing Evolve Blood can do about it. So, of course, the body is nice. It's a free invoke, but if you draw this, you'll kind of cry. Actually, if you draw this, you restore 3. Actually, you will cry because 5 mana just to restore 3 defense is pretty sad. On last words though, you actually put Ruler of Retribution back into your deck, and you becomes a 1 mana 10/10. It's just another follower. If you draw, you'll be happy, but there's no way you're drawing this consistently. You'll probably be using this for the invoke. Actually, there will also be probably better cards you want to draw with this. And if you actually wants to win with this card, you need Vulgus, which means you're probably playing Vengeance already. At this point, just go play Vengeance. Why play Evolve Vengeance, man? Actually, is Evolve Vengeance even a thing? We can try and make it a thing. However, if I play this in Shadowcraft, it becomes slightly better because Shadowcraft mutes my Thief Shadow deck or Evil Shadow cycles through the deck so fast. I'm gonna find this no matter what, and it actually prevents me from milling out. And I always mill out with Shadowcraft. So if for some reason Blood runs this and Bahamut, well, they have fun then, because Ruler of Retribution will prevent you from milling out, provided you can kill him every time. I don't know. It's probably not good for Evolve Blood, but if someone runs it, I'm gonna steal it. 2? Yeah, it's just a 2. It's just a good card. No, it's a below average card. It doesn't win you the game. It's just there being an annoyance. It's just another stat stick. Okay, another interesting one. Instigator of Discord is activate Vengeance under the end of your next turn. It's a fake Vengeance activator. Probably other than Waltz, other than Vulgus, this is the only way you can activate Vengeance early, and you can only activate on your evolve turn. And you also get to steal an enemy follower, which for Blood is actually pretty weak because you only get one follower that can steal a follower from another class. Why not just give this to Shadow, man? Give this to Shadow and say regain some burial right or draw 2 cards or something like that. Wouldn't this just make it better? Just make Shadow the Thief class. But what's the point of this? I might just say summon a copy, allied copy of Instigator. Most 2-drops aren't even worth stealing other than Mikael. The Vengeance is kind of scary. I don't really like the idea of activating Vengeance early without any downsides other than using your evolve point. So you're doing slightly less damage, but you can just pair Instigator alongside Garland and you just do 6 to the entire board. I honestly don't like the aggressive playstyle, but I think this is something that Vengeance do need, Currently, most of the Vengeance activators are quite weak. Waltz is the best one, Vulgus is second, and then there's a bronze card that's literally trash because you're playing her on turn 6 for absolutely nothing. Instigator of Discord, I'm not sold. I'm not sold that this will make Vengeance good, and it's also quite a boring effect as well. It's a very dumb effect, it's quite boring. I don't like it, but I'll give it a 3 upon 5 just because it's one of the only a few choices that Vengeance have to activate Vengeance before getting to 10 defense. Next we have Regretful Apostle. Havencraft Legendary 8 mana, 8 mana, 5/5, 7/7 on Evolve. Accelerate 1, deal 1 to a random enemy follower, do this 3 times. I think the Accelerate is actually really, really good. So the issue with Haven right now, right, is that they do not have any early game. Their turns come online after turn 5 to after turn 4. After Evolve turn basically. And maybe on turn 2 or turn 3 they'll play a 2-drop or maybe they're crystallized. But they don't interact with their opponent's board. Regretful Apostle changed that. If you have the Accelerate 1, you'll be able to basically deal with your opponent's board. You get to clear at least 1 follower and maybe 2 followers at most. For 1 mana. I think it's pretty decent. But the fanfare is really weird. I mean, it's an 8 mana, but you do 2 to a random enemy and restore 1 defense to your leader for X times. X is equals to 10, up to 10 times, and X is equal to the number of times allied follows that evolve this match. So usually, okay, with John, you can easily reach 10 evolve. But if you're gonna play John, why play a Regretful? Why play Regretful? Ready. Okay, in heal, this is plus 10 stats, provided your board sticks. Which actually is a lot of times. Your board sticks quite often if you play with John. But if you're winning with John, do you really need Regretful? Like, really, if you have John in the game, do you really need Regretful Apostle? It's just another win more card. Maybe you run him as a 2-off. Maybe just get 1 for the early game and 1 for post John. But if you already played John, you're probably winning already. So you probably can... Really? It's an interesting effect. It's an OTK effect. Tag to the 8 mana body, which is pretty good. But you also need your opponent's board to be cleared. And you do restore defense as well. So it's honestly not that bad. But just play John. As much as I hate to admit it, just play John. John is just too good. I don't know, man. I don't see this being played more than 2 copies of in any Haven deck. It does has an Accelerate 1, which makes it pretty unbreakable. You can just use it as a clear. But the finisher will probably be John anyways. You won't be finishing the game with Regretful at any time. Unless your opponent just try to clear your board and fail and end up with no board on their own and just drop a Regretful and then you just win the game. It's fine. It's not a strong card. It's just painfully average for a legendary. Kinda disappointed, not gonna lie. And we have Cottontail Chirurgeon for Let Go for the mini expansion. 6 mana 4/4, summon a Sword Owl Mirage. Recover 1 evolve point. And at the end of your turn, you restore 5 defense to all allied Sword Owl Mirage. And on evolve, you summon a Moon Owl Mirage. And with the same effect. Basically a free evolve. Also restores 5 defense. Sword Owl Mirage is a 5 mana 3/6. You trade into a 3 mana follower for free. Actually a 5 attack follower for free. Cottontail is also a 6/6 storm. 6/6 rush. Technically, you're probably revolving her the turn you're playing this. Or you're evolving this. At the end of your turn, you restore 2 to your leader. You Haven support. I mean, this has innate rush already, so you're probably not evolving this. You're probably evolving Cottontail to get a Moon Owl Mirage, which is a Storm follower that fully restores this follower's defense at the end of turn. Hugh Haven support, turn 6. Really odd card. This only card that summons all Mirages right now. So it's a self-synergistic card. Feels like a take 2 card, not gonna lie. Will you run this in Haven? Why is Haven's best play on turn 6? One of Haven's best play on turn 6 is to set up Prayer Urn. Or you set up Prayer Urn turn 5, you Cottontail on 6. I guess it's a decent card. It's just why? I guess you can get the even if Prayer Urn, right, Moon Owl Mirage only goes up to 4/6 in stats because it comes in last after evolve. You can't even get the evolve version because you already spent the evolve point on Cottontail to get the Moon Owl Mirage in the first place. It feels bad. I don't know why. It just feels bad. It doesn't feel like it will be good. I don't see this being good. I feel like this is a really bad gold card for Haven. Haven has so many better gold cards. Actually, except for Gilsai. Gilsai is really weird, in a really weird spot right now. I also cannot think of anything interesting to do with this. It's really boring. I don't like it. It's just average. I guess it's just a 3 for me. 3 stars. What a shame. I wanted something more spicy, but currently as of this point in time, I see like probably 3 spicy cards. Regretful, Corpse Crusher, Myth. Goro is just good, as these guys aren't useful. Roger is spicy and Lily is just good. But let's move on. We are done with Haven. Next up it should be Portal. Interstellar Battle Cruiser. 7 mana, 6/6, banish all other followers. A board clear actually counters John, which is actually decent. And on enhance 8, you discard 2 cards from your enemy from your opponent. Discarding 2 cards for two chances to discard potential win conditions from your opponent's hand is pretty decent, but for 8 mana is pretty reasonable. With card throw, it's a 2 mana discard 2. Not bad, but it's also a very unfun effect. Why? You're discarding 2 cards from your opponent's hand. It will either be the most useless effect ever, or you'll be the most hated effect ever. Alongside Bahamut. Bahamut banishing the opponent's entire deck is quite hated. Now you're just randomly discarding 2 cards from your opponent's hand. It's not strong effect. It's like it's really suited for its cost price for 8 mana. But like it doesn't help you win it helps you buy a turn, but it doesn't win you the game. Actually it could win you the game if you discard their win condition. But where will you put this? Enhanced Portal. Yeah, that's basically it. Enhanced Portal. That's it. Where else are you gonna put this? I don't know. This is also painfully average. I don't it's not spicy. I can't think of any combo with this other than you just discard their win condition and win. Really? I don't see it, man. Like what? Interstellar into Juvie and then you will buy 1 turn for you to win with Cutthroat? Probably. Not the worst play you could make. But it's kinda sad. I wanted something more spicy, but it's really, really average. Honestly, you could probably give this effect to a silver card, right? And I wouldn't bat an eye. I would thought it would fit. Like this is strong enough to be on a legendary, but it's like it doesn't feel unique at all. It feels really boring. Now we have Carnelia Emissiate Attendant. It's an artifact card for gold for Portalcraft. If 6 allied artifact cards have been destroyed, you get it evolves for free, and on evolve you get 2 artifact cards for free. Okay, so if you haven't played any of the cards that shuffle artifact cards into your deck, this guarantees you that you draw a Robopup. If you have played 1, then you get Robopup alongside the other. So it's a 2 mana draw 2. 2 mana draw 2, 2 mana 4/4 draw 2, and you can probably play those cards immediately since this is 1 mana with Deus Ex Machina's effect. You just play all the cards immediately. Is it good? It's another name, but it doesn't help Portal win the game. No, it doesn't help Artifacts win the game. Artifacts right now doesn't have a dedicated win con. Retrophia is too slow. it doesn't have I don't think Artifact controls the board enough. Like their followers just unproactive enough unless you shuffle enough of them. You need consistent draw, which is Blue Sex Machina kind of fixed, but you kind of lose to OTKs. Kaneda might actually make the deck slightly more consistent with the draw, but you need to make it to turn 9. And I don't think Kaneda actually neither does it help you win, nor does it actually help you get to turn 9. So I don't see this card being any good. You'll definitely see playing Portal, but it won't be an amazing card. Actually, it'll be one of the best cards in Portal. Is Artifact Portal. It's just going to be pretty mediocre because the deck itself isn't good. We might want to test her out though. We'll be testing her out. Then okay, this is probably one of the more spicy cards for this mini expansion. Flame and Glass United. You do 6 to a enemy follower. You make another enemy follower not able to attack. You get full ward. Can be targeted by enemy effects. And on last words, you summon Harness Flame and Harness Glass. I want to like this card. In fact, this card is spicy. It has combo potential. I want this card to be good. But it's probably not going to be good. 6 mana, 6 is really slow. It has ward, which protects your face. But your opponent can probably on turn 6 can quite easily clear an 8-8. Actually, will they? They need to clear an 8-8 and alongside either probably Harness Flame because Harness Flame has less hit points. That's another ping. They need to do 8 damage and then ping Harness Flame away so they do not die. Next turn to a Flame and Glass. I think it's actually, personally, I think it will be an annoying card to deal with. I feel like people might be undervaluing how annoying it could be to deal with. They just think about Drazael and make it a 1-1 and they're like, it's probably not going to be bad. It's not going to be good, but like, okay, yeah, actually, it won't be good in that scenario. Why am I coping? It's decent. I'll say it's decent. We'll go for the middle ground here. It's not strong. It's just decent. I'm gonna play this in Shadow, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. But if I can get Harness Flame and Harness Glass on the board easily, right, and they just couldn't deal with it, I think the Flame and Glass is actually pretty decent. It's a pretty scary card, and that you have to remove, and it's also pretty difficult to remove. I think this is probably going to be a fun card to play around. You won't be playing it. I'll probably, as I said, I'm going to play this in Shadow. But let's move on to the final card of the mini expansion. Asuka and Shiori, twins. This is just Angel's Blessing tag onto the 1-1 3 mana 1-1 body. Is it good? It's definitely good for Sword. It's just a free ready, 1 mana ready, draw 2. It's actually pretty decent. Actually, you don't even have to evolve this. I think it's just another painfully average card that's probably gonna be a staple in most decks, except for Spell Boost. Actually, it might even be run in Spell Boost just because they needed the card draw. It's so average. It's so average that it has to be at least a 4 and most a 5. Like, come on! Is that it? That's it. This is the last card. It's okay. It's just good. It's just good and painfully average. You get 2 cards and you get a 1-1 body. You get a ready for Mikael as well. I mean, you have more chances to draw Mikael than actually readying for Mikael. And if you do have more evolve points, you get 2 defense and 2 play points. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Yeah, it's really just fine. Now that you don't actually have to evolve this, you can actually run it alongside Kyrie. Like Kyrie into Asuka, evolve into Asuka into a 2-drop. You ready 3, you draw 4 cards, and you get 3 followers. You probably get 3 really decent cards on board. It's insane. Actually, if you play into Blooming Dancer, you basically get 3 followers, 2 evolves, 4 cards, 5 cards in draw. That's value. But let's talk about my overall impression about the mini expansion cards. Other than Sword, Fairy, and Shadow, actually Coral Spirits actually made Dragon slightly better. The rest of the cards seems painfully average. Like they're so boring. They are very straightforward effects that doesn't allow for anything to mess around with. Neutral is actually pretty decent. Like the biggest offender is probably like what, Rune. Rune is really boring. It's just another crystallized amulet, and then you get a spell boost that doesn't and it tries to enable a dying subtype, a dying archetype. For Dragon, the Doomsday Shark is just boring. It's just another 5/2 body. It's not. It doesn't. You just drop it. It's pretty brain dead. I don't personally like that. Ruler of Retribution is also quite boring. I mean, it is a 5/5, shuffles another 10/10 into your deck, so but you need to draw the 10/10. Yeah, I don't really like this mini as mentioned. It's I don't feel any. It doesn't feel some cards do feel entertaining. I do admit, but like most of them also feels very boring. But let's see if I'm wrong. Since the patch is just releasing in just under 1 hour 30 minutes, and I will be streaming live the changes and testing a lot of decks once the patch goes live. So if you're free, just hop on. It'll be a lot of fun. And now, yeah, without ado, just let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I'll see you soon. Bye!